so workday is over. It's about 7:20 p.m. now. I've tried to make myself look as least amount of tired as possible, and for good reason. I'm going to see friends tonight at the Elder Roof Garden, and this place looks really cool. It's in Belgravia, and it's in this building that I do not know how to pronounce. It's like Pantechnicon. I'm sure I'm gonna learn how to pronounce it once I've gone to visit it, but essentially it's described as your local Nordic and Japanese village in the heart of Belgravia, and apparently it's this building with a bunch of different shops and restaurants. There's an outpost of the famous Cafe Kitsune there, and we're gonna go to the Elder Roof Garden, which is more of a Nordic kind of themed menu. We are eating outside, which is why I'm wearing all the layers. My friends wanted to eat outside for kind of COVID safety measures, so it's really chilly outside. But I am excited. The menu looks fantastic. The space looks stunning. So let's go check it out and see if it's any good. Elder Roof Garden was really cool. When you go in, you take the lift or the stairs to the 3rd floor, and there is either indoor or kind of outdoor on the terrace seating. We opted for the outdoor seating, I guess just because some folks wanted to be more safe with COVID, with some travels coming up, etc. I have to say, I wore like this really heavy sweater. I wore a long sleeve shirt under it. I was way too hot because it's very well heated on this roof terrace, so you don't have to overly stress about that. We had a very well-powered heat lamp over our table, and we had a table for 6, so the fact that it actually heated all of the seats was pretty impressive. I was not drinking tonight, so I had a kind of green tea and apple kind of fizz mocktail, which I would say was okay. Not the best mocktail I've ever had, but not bad. And then the rest of the group either had like cocktails or wine. Everyone really seemed to enjoy it. We then got a bunch of small plates for the table. We started with the honey and fennel bread with lingonberry butter, which was good, although there were so many rave reviews of this bread on Instagram, and I didn't really think it was like the best bread or butter that I've ever had. I've honestly had better in my opinion, but it was presented really nicely. One of my friends also had the smørrebrød, the Danish open face sandwiches, and she had the sweet pickled herring with beetroot and radish, which looked gorgeous from like a plating perspective, and my friend said it was delicious. To share, we had a few of the kind of baked beetroot, horseradish, and candied walnut starters, which are plant-based, and the grilled celeriac with pickled pear and truffle. This dish was outstanding. Really great flavors. You had like a few different varieties of celeriac in the dish, and the pickled pear was super flavorful. I think if you were a plant-based person, you could also consider ordering this maybe as a main, because it did feel slightly more substantial. We also had the braised venison croquetas, which came with juniper and wild pickled mushrooms, and like a very generous kind of aioli mayo type sauce on the bottom, which was really good. And then one of our groups of friends got a large plate to share. They got if I was hungrier at this point, I would have gotten this, was the middle white pork cutlet with lingonberry, salt baked turnip, and this carrot puree. This to me was like the standout dish of the night. It was fantastic, perfectly tender pork, beautiful plating, great flavors, really, really lovely. I was pretty full at this point, so I actually opted to have another open-faced sandwich. I had the pumpkin, sage, and pine nut one, and the flavors on this were so good. It seems so simple when you say it, but it really was divine. And then one of my friends decided to splurge on dessert and had the carrot cake dessert, which was actually like this decentralized kind of carrot cake. with an ice cream, and he said it wasn't the best carrot cake he's ever had, but it was enjoyable. So a couple comments on this one. So the venue itself is absolutely beautiful. I thought the indoor kind of seating was just beautiful with all of the plants that you could see. And then the outdoor seating was very well heated, and I bet would be lovely on a summer's day. I had mixed feedback from friends who had the cocktails. They just felt like for 16 pounds a cocktail, they were a bit overpriced for what they were. No complaints from the friends on the wine selection, which is good. I thought all the food that I had, I thought was really good. Minus saying I just wasn't really that impressed by the bread and butter that everyone was raving about. Price-wise, because I know people always ask about this, I mean, the bread and butter goes for like £5. The open-faced sandwiches are 12 to 16 pounds. The most expensive one is a sandwich with reindeer. So my friend did have this. It's enoki, which is a type of mushroom, truffle, and reindeer, which she really liked. And then the small plates run anywhere from 14 to 17 pounds a dish. And the large plates, which would be like the main dishes, run between 24 and 32 pounds. So it definitely is probably more of like a premium, more premiumly priced dining experience. My share of the bill came out to about 59 pounds. So again, I was with a table of 6, including myself. So I guess a little bit of sharing went a long way there, but yeah, not the worst, you know, in terms of bill size, but definitely not like an inexpensive night out by any means. But I would definitely say it definitely makes for a fun night out, especially if you like Nordic cuisine, or you just want to get drinks and like a couple small plates on a really lovely roof terrace. I think this would be a really great night out, and I would A, definitely go back, and B, I would recommend it. Hey guys, so today is Saturday, and I've actually got to run an errand over in the Paddington Central area, so like Paddington Station area, and I thought it would be a really good excuse to show you a bit of that area, because every time I head over there, I always have so much fun. The area used to be completely desolate. Not that many, I mean, since I've moved to London, I've been here 7 years now. So earlier on when I moved to London, there was not much happening in that area, and now there's all these kind of luxury high-rise buildings, tons of great restaurants, a really cool outdoor amphitheater, and just some other cool bits and bobs to see along the canal there. So I thought I would show you around a bit and show you some of my favorite spots in case you're planning a trip to London, or you're a Londoner and you're just looking for some inspiration on new things to do. So let's head on over. So when you go over to the Paddington Central area, there's a few areas that I recommend checking out. One is kind of the Paddington Central Sheldon Square area, which is more about kind of restaurants, cafes. There's residential buildings and office buildings there. There's another area called Marchant Square, which is also a bit more of kind of the same. And then there's another area kind of called I don't know what the exact name for it is, but I think it's the kind of Paddington Basin Canal. And it's an area with all of these lovely houseboats. You have these wonderful walking paths along the water. And you actually can go quite far on those walking paths. They actually go all the way down towards Westbourne Grove and Ladbroke Grove kind of area. And there are kind of a few, I think there's like 1 or 2 little cafes along them. But really, if you're hungry or thirsty, the area that you need to spend the most amount of time in is probably the Paddington Central Sheldon Square area, which is really lovely. The canal still runs through there as well. So you'll see some of the houseboats, and there's actually a couple really good houseboat restaurants as well. A couple places that I think are really good are, there's Beanie Green, which is by this lovely area of kind of rainbows. There's a few ping pong tables outside, and there's these really interesting statues of 2 gentlemen that I think most people who come here for the first time are a bit like, what are these statues? There's now a Wagamama over there, which I haven't tried yet, but would love to. But Beanie Green just has these beautiful kind of pink umbrellas outside, so there's great outdoor seating, and I really love the menu there. Next door is Vinoteca, so if you want to go do wine tasting and have small plates, that's a really good restaurant. There's also a couple of nice places, like Union is a pub. It's very like gastropub, really good food, very affordable. And if it's a nice sunny day, you can just get like a sandwich from Starbucks or Sainsbury's. There's this gorgeous amphitheater kind of area where they put on like the Olympics or Wimbledon in the summer, and you can just sit outside on a nice day. You can bring some like toys for the kids if you want to. And it's just a cool area to hang out in, but it is all stairs, so it's not really great from an accessibility standpoint, but you don't have to go like all the way down them if you don't want to. So on the other side of the amphitheater, you might think that there's not anything over there, but you would be wrong. There's actually this really lovely path with tons of landscaping. So all these kind of trees, bushes, I think maybe even some flowers in the summer months, but there's benches that line it, and it's meant to be kind of encouraging people who work and live in the area just to take a break, have a coffee, have a meal outside. It's a very lovely green space. And then on the right-hand side of that kind of green walking path, there are some more kind of restaurants and cafes and offices. Sadly, a lot of them were closed when I went over. Some permanently closed, some not permanently closed. I think it's a bit of a casualty of the pandemic, sadly, because this area was much more of an area people would come to for work. But there are still some cool spots, and two of them notably that I would like to recommend. The place is called Huckster, actually. Thankfully, just saw it on the screen there. But it's a really cool spot. It's actually more of like a nightlife-y kind of spot, but I guess could be good for after work too. It's a place for burgers, for chicken wings, mac and cheese. There's a very kind of comfort food heavy menu, and it's definitely more of like that dim lighting, neon lights, more of that kind of party vibe. I think they have a few rooms you can rent out for karaoke as well. So it's definitely a fun, if not a bit of a dangerous spot to go check out. And then next door to that, well, like adjacent to that, is a place I go to really often. It's called Pergola Paddington. And this is cool. It's kind of the idea of like a food hall or like a German beer house where they have all of these long, almost picnic tables lining the place. You can book them for groups, which is quite cool. And then there's all of these different stalls inside. So there's tons of different food options, drink options. So it's one of those places where you can bring your group of friends and people can decide what they want to have for food and drink, and the interior is really beautiful. And even though it's called a pergola, it is like fully heated inside, and it's just a great spot. So would definitely recommend it if you're looking for some new places to try in London. Another great restaurant that's coming up here on your left is called Smith's Bar and Grill. I really like this one as well. They do a bunch of happy hour deals. So I think it's like 2-for-1 drinks if you order the same cocktail. The food is really good for kind of like a lunch or dinner situation. And they actually have, I think it's more of like an Asian, maybe Peruvian fusion restaurant called Aliu. That's really good as well. Across the way from that is the Cheese Barge. Yes, there is a restaurant in London called the Cheese Barge. I've not tried it yet, but I have to. You also definitely have to go take a selfie or a photo of the famous Paddington Bear statue. Obviously, the Paddington area is known for Paddington Bear. Another area that I love is it's the Darcy and May Green houseboat. Half of it is a cocktail bar, half of it is a restaurant, and they have seating outside on the top in the warmer months where you can have like food, cocktails. It's the sister restaurant to the Beanie Green that I was recommending. So the menus are similar. It's Australian cuisine. It's very healthy, very delicious. It's hands down, both of those are two of my favorite spots in London. And they actually also have another place across the way called Bondi Green, but there's also now a huge Gales. Gales, I think, is just taking over London. always love a stop to Gales. This is Bondi Green, the place that I was mentioning to you. It's also part of the same restaurant group that is behind Beanie Green and Darcy and May Green, and the food is really good. So now we're heading over across the bridge to the Marchant Square area. The canal still runs through here in this area, so you'll see some more of the houseboats that are docked. There's a huge Marks and Spencer, so if you want some more kind of takeaway sandwiches, they have some good like takeaway sandwiches there, juices, all salads, all that kind of stuff. They also have the go boats, so in the warmer months you can actually hire these go boats, or rent them as we Americans would say, and you can take them through kind of the Paddington Canal Basin and parts of the Regent's Canal, and they accommodate like a pretty good size of people, and they look really fun to do. I've actually never done one, but it is very much on my wish list of or my London bucket list of things to do. And this area does have some more restaurants. There is a Pizza Express. There's a kind of more of a Danish, kind of Scandinavian place. I forget the name right now, but I can leave them all linked down below. There's also Lock House, which is more of like a brew pub, a good like after work bar scene. And there's also a Brewdog outpost as well, which I've heard is very good for beer and burgers. So a bit more like sit down restaurant options kind of on this side as well. So you kind of can't go wrong with taking a lovely long walk, enjoying the fountains. There's these kind of floating parks in this part of the canal area, which are really cool because if it was a warm day, how lovely would it be to take kind of your coffee or your tea or your juice and just to go sit out there and have a chat with a friend and be kind of around water, the fountains, and really just enjoy it. So I think there's a lot of lovely things to offer in this area. So with that said, guys, that wraps up my Life in London vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a comment down below. Let me know, are there other places in London you'd like me to check out? Please, or places you think I would love, please recommend them in a comment down below. Sharing is caring here on this channel. And if you want to see more of this kind of content, please hit that subscribe button. I do kind of travel and lifestyle vlogs in London and all of my adventures outside of London as well. So more great content coming your way soon. So thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will see you soon.